Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, yesterday President Joe Biden announced the U.S. is stopping the import of Russian oil due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. WYMT's Dakota Makris explains how this will keep prices at the pump high.
It is no secret that filling your tank is putting a larger strain on the wallet right now, with gas prices in Hazard hovering around $4 per gallon, due in part to the ongoing tensions overseas brought on by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the impact could grow even larger. Dr. Robert Farley, a senior lecturer at the Patterson School of Diplomacy and International Commerce at the University of Kentucky, says it was no surprise when the president ordered a ban on Russian oil. He says it was the easiest option for a direct impact on Russia's economy, saying Russian oil imports make up a small portion of overall gas imports here in the U.S. Despite this, he warns we will likely still see prices continue to increase for some time, but urges people to keep the big picture in mind.
I think us accepting a little bit of annoyance at the high prices, and it's more than annoyance; it's actual pain for a lot of people, for working people. But still, compare that to what people are seeing in Ukraine, and I think this is a way we can contribute.
The AAA Auto Club reports the average price for a gallon of gas in the U.S. hit a record $4.17 Tuesday, increasing by 10 cents in just one day. In the studio, I'm Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Dr. Farley also says there is pressure on Middle Eastern countries to produce more oil. Kentucky State Police say the suspect in a high-profile Madison County murder has confessed to the charges against him. Shannon Gilday is accused of shooting and killing Jordan Morgan during a violent home invasion in February. Troopers say he detailed watching the home of former State Representative Wesley Morgan in the lead-up to the home invasion, ways to get into an underground bunker on the property, and even times those inside would wake up and go to sleep, saying he was ready for anything.
He had prepared himself to have to force his way into the residence by whatever means necessary.
State Police add in a 3-hour-long interview with Gilday, he said he believed he had to get into the home to access an underground bunker for security, believing he and his family were not safe given recent world events. This morning, the judge found probable cause and sent the case to a grand jury.
Cloudy for many of us. Some areas staying in the 30s this afternoon, others trying to warm up at least a little bit this afternoon as we try and get the last of those showers out of the way. High knob camera UVA wise, middle and upper 30s this afternoon as we continue to watch those clouds work on through. Though a few breaks trying to work in I-64 at Moorhead at this hour. Temperatures, well, they're cooler in Wise, but many of us in the middle and even upper 40s right now. At the moment, a couple of 50s trying to sneak in, but not quite there yet. Satellite and radar, well, we're working on through the region, seeing some of those breaks working from northwest to southeast. Maybe a couple of sprinkles still with us, but we're going to continue to see mostly dry conditions as we head through the nighttime hours. So keep that WYMT weather app handy. We're in the 40s overnight as we head back down into the 30s, though we do stay mostly cloudy as we head through tonight. I'll have the very latest on what could be an active end of the work week coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. The House is considering a vote today on a $1.5 trillion spending bill that would include billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine. Congress must pass legislation by Friday to avert a government shutdown. CBS's Deborah Alfarone reports from Capitol Hill.
We are here today in a time of great crisis.
House lawmakers inched closer to passing a massive $1.5 trillion spending bill that would fund the federal government through September.
This agreement does not include everything I wanted, and I know it doesn't include everything my Republican friends wanted. But I think at the end of the day, it's a good package.
The measure, which was hammered out overnight, includes $13.6 billion in military and humanitarian aid for Ukraine as the nation defends itself against a Russian invasion.
Putin is evil, and what he's doing to these people is devastating.
The package did include $15.6 billion for COVID relief, but some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle pushed back, so the bill is being revised.
If it feels like we've been here before, that's because we have.
funding for federal agencies is set to run out at midnight Friday. The bill is huge, almost 3,000 pages, and some lawmakers are complaining that's a lot to sift through in this time frame. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell backs the funding bill and says he will urge his caucus to vote for it. The White House is pressing Congress to get the legislation to the president for his signature without delay. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The measure also includes massive increases in defense spending. To give the Senate more time to approve the bill, the House plans to pass another short-term bill to keep federal agencies running until March 15th. The U.S. government is going to take a closer look at cryptocurrencies. President Biden signed an executive order earlier today calling on the Treasury Department to assess the risks and benefits of making its own digital currency. The use of cryptocurrencies is gaining popularity. The White House reports 16% of people in the U.S. have invested in, traded, or used cryptocurrencies. The executive order also directs the Department of Commerce to look at developing, designing, and implementing crypto systems. The families of the 98 victims of the Surfside, Florida condominium collapse have agreed to a $55 million tentative settlement. That money will come from 3 defendants named in the class action wrongful death lawsuit. $16 million will come from the engineering firm that performed a structural analysis in 2018. Another engineering firm has agreed to pay $8.5 million, while the Champlain Towers South Homeowners Association will pay $31 million. The law firm representing that HOA points out no cause for the collapse has been determined yet. Ukraine's Chernobyl nuclear power plant, seized by Russian forces, has lost power. The International Energy Agency tweeted that it has been informed by Ukraine of the power loss, but it sees no critical impact on the plant's safety. This morning, Ukraine's foreign minister and said reserve diesel generators only have a 48-hour capacity to power the plant. After that, cooling systems will stop, making radiation leaks imminent. Ukrainian officials are calling on the international community to demand a ceasefire so workers can restore power. Some U.S. food and beverage giants are taking a stand against Russia and its invasion of Ukraine. That includes Starbucks, who announced they're shutting down their restaurants and cafes in the country. CocaCola is following suit, announcing yesterday it's suspending all business in Russia, saying in a statement that, quote, "Our hearts are with the people who are enduring unconscionable effects from these tragic events in Ukraine." The United Nations Human Rights Office says at least 516 civilians have been killed in Ukraine since the attack started nearly 3 weeks ago. Meanwhile, in a conference call with reporters, Russian government spokesperson Dmitry Peskov spoke about moves like those made by Coca-Cola alongside recent U.S. energy and fuel embargoes, saying the U.S. is responsible for starting what he calls an economic war, as the U.S. government and a number of international companies are imposing economic pressure on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. When asked what Russia needs to do to respond to economic sanctions, Peskov said, quote, "Do what is best for our interests." Back here in the United States, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported a record number of job openings. In January, there were 11.3 million open jobs. The bad news for companies: there are not enough workers willing to fill them. 4.3 million people quit at the start of the year, looking for better pay as gas and grocery prices soared, along with a host of other reasons. We'll take a more in-depth look at what continues to fuel the Great Resignation in our next half hour. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Wednesday. The Dow closes up today more than 653 points, so a strong rebound after the last couple of days. When we return on First and Four, scientists have found and filmed one of the most famous shipwrecks in history.
And we're going to watch a cloud cover area be the dominant feature the next couple of days. The big changes are on the way. We've got the very latest on the way next.